went all the way back to the old setting. That's unfortunate. Okay, 4.5b is what we're doing today. So we talked yesterday about simplifying square roots, and we said, if you look back in your notes, that there are two things that we needed to do when simplifying. Someone tell me what they are.
No radicals.
No radicals in the denominator, which we didn't really talk about yesterday, so that's what we're going to talk about today. Adding no radicals. Okay, so on one of the problems that we had last night, we got that the square root of 26, or sorry, it wasn't that. This is the square root of 13 over 2. Okay, remember we just talked about that. So this is going to be equal to the square root of 13 divided by the square root of 2. What allows me to break it up like that? Kevin? No, I'm asking what allows me to do that step. Yes, ma'am. The property. So remember we said that the property was the square root of AB is equal to the square root of A over the square root of B. That was in your notes yesterday. Everyone follow so far? Okay, now, to get, do you know this, Kevin? Okay, what do you think we should do next? Okay, close. Multiply by the square root of 2. Have you done this before? Okay, awesome. So we're going to multiply by whatever's on the bottom. So we have square root 2, so we're going to do square root 2 divided by square root 2. Why do we need to do the same thing on the top and the same thing on the bottom? So it's equal to 1. Are we changing the way, or are we changing the value of this? No, we're only changing the way it looks, right? You follow? Okay. In the numerator, square root 13 times square root 2 becomes square root what? 26. And then on the bottom, square root 2 over square root 2 becomes 2. Now there's no radicals in the denominator. What was the second condition to be simplified? Yeah, cannot simplify, or what?
Radicand.
Thank you. Radicand is simplified. Is that true in our example? Can we simplify root 26 anymore? No, we can't. So there's our answer. That's why in the back it was square root 26 over 2. Yes, ma'am. Nope, you're good. The bottom. So you're trying to get the square root out of the bottom. So if we multiply by what is already on the bottom, then we would get square root 4. And what is square root 4? 2, right? In fact, if you do this, you're always going to get whatever the radicand was. There's your answer. You're welcome. Okay, let's do another one of these. Let's do square root 9 divided by square root 8. Or, sorry, square root of 9 divided by 8. What's the first step? Split them up. Square root 9 divided by square root 8. Again, what allows us to do that? Right, the properties. Okay, what is the square root of 9? 3. And square root 8? Okay, so maybe it can be simplified. So if we look at 8, we get 4 times 2. Look at 4, we get 2 times 2. So what does it simplify to? 2 root 2. Okay. At this point, we usually, what I just said was we're going to multiply by what's on the denominator. But in this case, we can do that. We can multiply by 2 root 2. But then we're going to have to simplify the final answer. We're going to have to reduce the fraction. So that's one way to do it, is go ahead and multiply by 2 root 2. The other way to do it is just multiply by root 2. Why would we do that? Because then it's going to get rid of the square roots. It's okay to have a number on the bottom, just not a square root. So if we just multiply by square root 2 over square root 2. Then that gives us 3 root 2 over what? 2 times the square root of 4, which is 4. Just 2 times 2, which gives us 4. And just because you should see this, if you did 3 over 2 root 2 and you multiplied by 2 root 2 over 2 root 2, you're going to get 6 root 2 on the top over 4 times root 4, which is going to be 6 root 2 over 8. And then see how you can reduce the 6 to the 8? So that's what's going to happen. You can reduce this to 3 root 2 over 4, which is what we already got. So either way actually gives you the same answer. One of them you just have to simplify a little bit more. But whichever way you're most comfortable doing this is fine. Questions? You want to do one on your own? Okay. Square root of 19 over 21. Go ahead. I'll let you have time to do it and then we will check it. I'll give you a hint on this. Whatever you get on the top cannot be simplified. Okay, so we split them up. Square root 19 over square root 21. Multiply by what? Square root 21 over square root 21, which gives us the square root of what? 399 over 21. I told you that it didn't simplify, but actually, if you had tried, what are 2 factors of 399? No. I mean, yes, but no. Like right here specifically. 19 and 21. 19 is what kind of number? Prime. 21, the factors are 7 and 3. So 3, 7, and 19, nothing has a pair. It's prime also? I don't think so. 19 and 7 go into it. Do you know how I knew that? Not because I'm a super genius, although. No. Look, if you have this, in order to get 399, the prime factorization is 19, 7, and 3. So you told me 3 times 133, which means that this has to be equal to the 133. Do you see that? Look, you can't even see what I'm writing. But you shook your head like you got it. You got it? You're good? Okay. Great. so glad. I know that's the truth though. Most of the time y'all just say yes, so people will quit bothering you, right? Yeah, I know. Alright, let's do one more kind of example. So if we have something like 4 over 5 minus root 2. Okay, this time we can't really just multiply by root 2, because if we multiply by root 2, what's going to happen? Let's try it actually. On the top you're going to get 4 root 2. On the bottom you have 5 minus root 2 times root 2. What do you do with that? Distribute. So you're going to get you're going to get 5 root 2 minus 2, but what happens? We still have a square root on the bottom, so we can't do that. Instead, we're going to multiply by the conjugate. And conjugates are, if you have a plus root b, the conjugate is going to be a minus root b. If you have a minus root b, it's backwards. The conjugate is a plus root b. I'm cold.
I'm actually always cold.
Maybe.
I think I'm a superhero.
Okay, so complex conjugates. Now, these are just conjugates. The reason these work, if you multiply this out, do you remember back when we learned the special patterns, the difference of two squares? So this looks a lot like the difference of two squares factored out, right? So if we go backwards, since we know this is difference of two squares, the square root of the first term squared would be a squared minus the second term squared, which would be b. Notice that in this form, we don't have any square roots. That's why we like this. That's why we want to multiply by the conjugate. Okay, so let's start with 4 over 5 minus root 2. What is the conjugate of the bottom? Yeah, 5 plus root 2. So we're going to multiply by 5 plus root 2 over 5 plus root 2. Why? The same thing on the top and the bottom. Multiplying by 1, right? It's not changing the value. Okay, on the top, again, we have to distribute this. So we would have 20 plus 4 root 2. On the bottom, you can multiply it out by distributing, or you can remember this relationship. It doesn't matter. I'm going to do it by distributing. So you have 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times root 2 is 5 root 2. Negative root 2 times 5 is negative 5 root 2. And negative root 2 times root 2 is negative what? Negative root 4, which is 2. Okay, so this gives us 20 plus 4 root 2 over, what happens here? 5 root 2 minus 5 root 2. Yeah, it goes to 0. So I have 25 minus 2, which is 23. Questions? Let's do negative 1 divided by 9 plus root 7. Okay, we need to multiply by the conjugates of the denominator, so what is that? 9 minus root 7 over 9 minus root 7, which is going to give us, when we distribute, negative 9 plus root 7 on the top, divided by, again, if we distribute this, we would have 9 times 9 is 81. 9 times negative root 7 is negative 9 root 7. Root 7 times 9 is positive 9 root 7. Square root 7 times negative root 7 is negative 7. You could always write negative root 49 and then figure it out from there if you need to. So this gives us negative 9 plus root 7 over. Again, the middle terms are going to simplify to 0. 81 minus 7 is what? 74. Yes, 74. Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay, your homework for tonight on the grid is 11 through 18 all. This is in 4.5. It says worksheet, but we're not doing a worksheet. Yeah, we'll just do 11 through 18 all on this. So short homework tonight. Any last questions?